51 counts in which Bob Leonard was found guilty on all. And Derek Thomas was asking a lot of these questions. He was up in the courtroom. And Derek, I mean, certainly for you, this has been one of those it's one of those experiences that you've gone through, and you've gone through it again. Can you contrast what you heard the last time when Mark Leonard was found guilty to what we heard just now?
You know, I talked to Don Buxton, who was Jennifer's father, yesterday, and he was so emotional about that it never changes. That, you know, you can't. Losing a child is not like a cold or cancer. You can't take medicine for it. You can't cut it out. It lasts forever. And that's the same thing that John Longworth just told us right here, that he's not going to get his son back, but he wants to make sure that these individuals who put this explosion into order come to justice. I developed a relationship with him over the last 3.5 years, and he misses his son so terribly. He talks about the music that they listen to, the flowers that Dion used to plant around his house. This is a major catharsis for him today, being here in the courtroom and hearing these guilty verdicts.
And you know that he's right. That pain, at least looking at him, and when he was answering a number of reporters' questions, was very obvious. It's still there.
Now, and one thing I want to point out here is that they are going to have a life without parole hearing, and John was just talking about that's not going to bring his son back, but these people, if they do get a life without parole, Mark has it already, but if Bob gets it, at least they won't be out on the street to harm anyone else.
Were you surprised at all, Derek? 51 counts, guilty on all counts?
No, I wasn't. The last time, and they had the same deal, and this time the brother, and in fact they had more evidence, I think, this time on Bob, because they had two people who said, yeah, he told me about it. The inmates in jail, one in Marion County, one in Allen County, said that yes, he drew a map of the house. He said why he was doing it. So they had two witnesses who he talked to, told them that he participated in this. Now their credibility could come into question, but they did have evidence of two people who he said, I did this. And Monserrate Shirley, whose house it was, she came forward and really said he was going to get $10,000. He never got it, but that was what was promised.
So we heard from John Longworth. Don Buxton, who is the father of Jennifer, was up here yesterday. Likely he will not come back because of the inclement weather that we've had. Do you suspect that we will hear in a short order from prosecutors? We know that the Marion County prosecutor, Terry Curry, was here yesterday. Some of his staff said that he would not. He had some commitments and couldn't make it back up here today. But we expect to hear from Denise Robinson and others with the prosecutor's office.
I'm not sure how quickly that's going to come, because they are still making preparations for the life without parole hearing, which I am told will happen today. So they still have to do some prep work for that. Not sure if they will do that, if they'll be down here immediately. We should hear from Terry Curry at some point today, because he's not a part of doing all that, the hands-on stuff. But we should hear from Terry. Not sure when we'll hear from Denise Robinson and Mark Hollingsworth.
Yeah, we weren't really, yesterday, Terry makes it a habit of generally not commenting on these cases when the jury is deliberating, and so they said afterward he would likely make at least some sort of statement. And so we do know that once again, as we've been following this breaking news, that Bob Leonard has been found guilty on all 51 counts. And Mark, there was a lot of relief, I think, as you heard just a short time ago from John Longworth in his voice. There was a lot of emotion as well. But you know, at least this next phase is over for now. Mark?
All right, Chris, and as we're hearing, there's a lot of relief, a lot of people having to relive the pain of that night, November 10th, 2012. If you're just joining us for breaking news, RTV6 is following here on HTSN. As Chris just reported, Bob Leonard Jr. has been found guilty on all 51 counts related to the Richmond Hill subdivision explosion that killed 2 people, injured 7 others, and left more than $4 million of damage. Just after 1 o'clock this afternoon, we had learned that the jury returned the guilty verdict on the first count, and that was murder. And then soon after, the other counts, the guilty verdict started rolling in, and finally we learned that he had been found guilty on all 51 counts.